Only 5 minutes down the road from Shaughnessy lies McCleery Golf Course. They were happy to host us today for your viewing pleasure. And a special thank you to all of you. We got to the goal of 10,000 subscribers, so if you haven't already, hit subscribe and I guess we'll go for the drive to 20,000. We're tipping out McCleery today at about 6,400 yards. The rating isn't too tough, but quote my friend Gordon, who's a pro here, this place is a bowling alley. It requires straight drives off the tee, and I started the first hole by doing just that, and fortunately for me that became a theme throughout the day. I had a long way in here on one, and with a forward in hand the goal once again is keep it between the trees. I ended up with about 40 yards in, and hit a good wedge that pitched right next to the pin before rolling about 20 feet past. My first lag putt of the day is okay, and we'll take a par on the first hole. I think of number 2 as the only gimme hole at McCleery. A driver anywhere followed by a wedge into a generous green is fine, but I guess I let my guard down and thinned this wedge over the green, before hitting a way too aggressive chip that rolls a good 25 feet past the hole. And just like that, on the easiest hole on the course, I'm going to have to take a bogey. I have a bit of beef with this hole. 213 yards and an uneven tee box. Yeah, I'll blame that on that terrible shot. Trying to get fancy with a 60-degree wedge there, I leave it short. And this chip is okay, but from about 4 feet here, I don't quite know what happened, and we'll make our first and only double bogey of the day. The fourth hole is a great layout, and you have to hit a very precise tee shot to be anywhere near the 150. I was fortunate to do that, and my approach came up a little short, so I decided to just bump an 8-iron up towards the pin. I rolled a bit past and have a tricky downhiller, but I do manage to make it. I'm playing for the front right of the green here because the pin is tucked behind a trap, and I end up coming up a bit short. And I maybe should have walked up to the green to have a look at this one, because the number is fine, but it rolls about 10 feet left, and I had no idea that was coming. I never really committed to the line on that putt, and have to take another bogey. I'm not sure if this is stroke hole 1 on the card, but it ought to be. Once again, a drive needs to be in a good place. And here I hit my best shot of the day, and it pitches about 4 feet from the hole.
Oh, that was the worst kick ever, hey?
It ends up rolling down the ridge, and now I have about 40 feet up a hill. I got aggressive with it and rolled it a good 6 feet past, but fortunately I am able to make the comebacker. That was at least a groove low, and gets left short of the green, but this is a pretty easy uphill putt from the fringe, and I do manage to get up and down. This might have been my best drive of the day. I knew a big raking draw here could leave me inside 100, and I managed to do that before grabbing a wedge from about 85 yards, aiming straight at the pin and leaving an uphiller.
Oh, tried to take the break ring,
but I hit it a bit too firm for it to drop. This was actually hit high on the face, so didn't quite get the number I wanted out of it, but I at least have a look of hitting the green in 2. But it's straight into wind, and from about 230 it does get left a bit short of the green. That was a terribly struck shot. And from 25 yards I was certainly hoping for a makeable birdie putt, and instead I have about 20 feet up the hill, and I'll tap it in to close the front 9 4 over. And as you can see from the stats, the driver was really steady on that front 9. I was never once out of position on some very narrow holes, and I'm happy with my score heading into the back. Some say this is the toughest par 4 in the city. It's 430, and the second shot is much more uphill than it appears. I grab a hybrid from some thick rough, basically knowing that I won't get it there. But that was a very good leave, because as you can see, this ball ends up rolling right back towards the pin. But for not the first or last time today, I can't quite find the 4-footer. Another steady drive on the par 5 here still leaves me a good 280 in. And with the second shot, I hit my forward probably as best I can. My camera didn't want to capture my swing there, only the practice swing. It was a bad shot and left me about 50 feet coming up from the fringe here.
you.
It actually flirts with the hole, and I'm happy with the par. Another steady drive here. The only thing guarding this pin is a high-lip bunker, and of course I managed to catch the top of it. And that was one that I really didn't know what would happen with, and unfortunately it barely gets out of the bunker, and I'll have a long putt for par. The lag putt's okay, and we'll tap in for bogey. Similar to the par 3 on the front, I catch this one not particularly well, but it's on line and a hair short of the green. I opt to putt through the fringe here, and it was pretty well done, and I will make the par. Thank the golf gods for moving us one tee forward today, because this hole usually plays at about 500 yards. And I hit a good drive and a good 4-wood about 210 into wind. And it's not often on this course I'll have a 12-footer for eagle. Nothing wrong with birdie in any event. This was another drive hit really well for the shape of the hole. And with just a 7-iron in, I don't quite get all of it, so I'll be putting from the front of the green. And this long lag putt almost dropped, and ends up leaving me about a 3-foot knee knocker coming back, and I'm fortunate enough to make it. Here I'm actually playing for short of the pin. I know I can't get a 5-iron 180 into the wind, but the 5 hybrid has some pretty nasty misses, and missing anywhere around this green is pretty bad. I have about a 50-foot lag putt, and I'm fortunate enough to 2-putt it. I know I'm having a good driver day when I can work it both ways, because that shot demanded a slight fade, which was a shot I hadn't hit all day until that shot required it, and I did it. This one was in a pretty lousy lie, and it's pretty frustrating to make a 5 from 140 yards, but the golf gods can't give them to you every time. On 18, I hit my only lousy drive of the day, and you can see how quickly this course punishes you for being even a bit offline off the tee. And trying to get up and down from 90 yards here, I don't hit my best one, and I'll have about 30 feet for par. It's left a bit short, but with one more knee knocker today, I hit it firm and into the hole. 78 at McCleery is good for me. I'll always take a differential of about 6. And just like the front 9, the stats reveal that the driver was really what kept me in it today. And even though I didn't drop a lot of putts, there were only 1 or 2 brain farts. And I think this round really reinforces the notion I have that the key to scoring is keeping it in play off the tee and being steady around the green.